Hello everyone, we are here, we are live, we are ready to go, and we are right back into Kerbal Space Program, Kerbin-sized real solar system. That's sort of the main theme of this series. In case you didn't catch the first episode, this is now the second episode, and I don't know, there's a whole batch of mods. I can't just summarize it all with just one word, but that's the one I picked to be sort of the title card of this one, is the Kerbin-sized real solar system. So it's real solar system, but scaled down to Kerbin-sized. If you want to see me play actual real solar system, RP1 in particular, I do have a series on that. You can find that on my channel with episodes that come out every 2 weeks. But for a live stream, I wanted to pick something that frankly is a little less daunting, that I won't be spending hours and hours just building a ship to find out that it doesn't fly. And speaking of which, this is the ship we built at the conclusion of the last stream, the Stay Put Nick 1. It's my first attempt to get into orbit, and yeah, it almost did it. I don't think I really need to modify it too much, but what we'll do right off the bat is actually just do another test with this and make sure I can get this into orbit. We are playing with it is the CSI Tech Tree, but it is you get the probe bodies and stuff before you get stuff for crew. So for instance, you can see here I have this Steputnik probe, but I really don't have anything else. A couple other things actually before we get started. One is the WernherChecker here. I have modified that, so now I have my own checklist that I just called probe, that I can check off things, and I really need something like this where I can go through and make sure that I've checked everybody, and I want to, I created that one myself, so I just wanted to actually spend a little bit of time just showing you how I created that. Unfortunately, it needs to be created by going and finding its config file, so you need to go into the game data folder, find the WernherChecker folder for this mod, and in there you'll find a file. I'll just, oh wait, that's not gonna work for you. I gotta bring it up this way. There we go. You gotta find a file called WernherChecker config, and you can modify this to your heart's content, and I'll just show you very quickly. Excuse me, I just got a little, there we go. Very quickly how I did that. So if I turn this off just a second and show you this Enkyo's spaceship. This one comes packed with it, but this shows you kind of what you get. Excuse me. This is the one that came packed with it. I'm not a fan. The little lights go red or green depending upon whether it thinks you have those parts, but and it's really just, oh, this doesn't help. A parts list. I'll show you where that is on, again, I need to put this back up. And if I scroll down to Enrico's checker, there it is. What it's doing is it's looking for specific parts, and if it sees those parts, it makes it a green light. If it doesn't, it makes it a red light. What I find annoying about that, especially if you play with part mods, is that it's easy to miss parts that really do like provide RCS or something like that, and you just didn't list it in your part thing, and then the light goes red, but it's supposed to be green. So it's not much of a checklist. But if I scroll down this checklist down here, there we go. Now we get into the really simpler checklist items, and this is how you make a checklist item. You just have checklist item, you give it a name, it can be whatever you want, and you want to take is manual and toggle that to true. And if you do that, what you end up with is stuff like these guys down here, where you just decide whether to toggle these on or off. They're just, toggle buttons for you. And so all I did to create my checklist, always takes me a moment to go back and forth between here, is simply take one of these, and then I scrolled up. Where's the scroll bar? There it is. Nope, I'm missing it. There we go. And I created a checklist. I just called it probe. And then you just copy and paste that checklist item, give it a name, and say it's true. And that means you can toggle it, and you can just make as many as you want. And as you make them, they just populate the list. And you end up with the probe list that I have. And then you can create as many checklists as you want, just call them different things. So I'll probably have different ones when I have crewed flights and for space planes or for whatever else I come up with. One thing, if you are going to use this mod, well, a couple of things really, but one thing I do want to point out is there's this little flag up here called JEB enabled, and I have it turned to false. The default is it to be true, and if it's true, you get, let me turn this off now. You get this very annoying one at the bottom of every checklist you make that's not here because I have it set to false, that says just more boosters, which I think probably the modders thought was cute. I found it annoying. Maybe you would find it cute. I didn't find it cute, but that's how you get rid of the more boosters. I'll probably delete this entire checklist actually now that I've shown this to you. The other thing that you need to realize too is when you make a modification to a config file, in order to see that modification, you have to reboot the game because those config files are loaded during the startup process of the game. So just to be aware of that. But anyway, I now have this little checklist, so I'm going to start using this from now on. I'm getting a comment. Can I get a shout out? I'm really struggling to get off the ground. No pun intended. Sure. Saul's Gaming, go ahead. Yeah, I guess that's your shout out. Anyway, and that, you know what? If you're in the YouTube game, I mean, I'm a minuscule player in the YouTube game. I mean, that's no thing. The one thing I would say is, like, do it if you enjoy it, but be careful about thinking that it's going to be a career. It's not. It's exceedingly likely that it won't be a career, but who the heck knows? Anyway, actually, speaking of shoutouts, why don't I bring this one up? I like to always give a shout out to my newest Patreon members or Patreon patrons and YouTube members. So now that you've reminded me of that, my most recent Patreon member is Liveware Cascade. Thank you very much, Liveware, and of course, very, very special thank you to everybody who directly supports this channel, either through Patreon or through a YouTube membership. Anyway, back to the game. Was there something else I wanted to show people besides the checklist? Yes, I did. I just wanted to briefly mention, and then I'm going to get going. Or, yeah, I won't leave. I'm going to get going launching this thing. Last week I mentioned, people were asking how do you install Kerbal-sized real solar systems, and I think I mentioned that I installed it through CCAN, and that was a lie. It's not available on CCAN. I had forgotten that at that time. I installed it. It's actually from a GitHub. So what I did down in the description is I put a link to that GitHub. It is a little bit to install. I had to do a little bit of playing around to get it to finally work, but that's what that is. Anyway, let's go through my little checklist. So do I have a kOS processor aboard? Yes, I do. One of the things I do talk about a lot in this series is kOS, and people seem to like it last week, so I'm going to keep talking about kOS because I love kOS. I need to have some sort of flight program written. I do. It's called Orbit. I need to have a boot file installed. I do. These are things I know that are installed. The boot file is, and if you were here, oh my gosh, why am I having trouble? You know, I'm forgetting how this works as opposed too used to KSP2 and I was dragging with the middle mouse. Okay, the boot file is installed. It's called basic boot, so that is good. Have I configured the science? That's very true. I have a telemetry report, but I don't have it turned on. So see, that checklist did good. It said experiments on. No, your telemetry port isn't on. What other science do I have? I have a Geiger counter. Is it on? It is. And there should be a thermometer hiding here somewhere. There is, right there. And is it on? It is on. Okay, so the science is all set. Communications is good. I have a Communitron 16S. By the way, you don't have to, for transmitting, have to have an external antenna. There is a built-in and transmittable antenna built into all of the probe bodies, but I believe the speed of it is much lower than, where's the talk about it here? There, data transmitter. It doesn't mention the speed, but I think the speed is much lower than the external antenna, so I think it's still good to put on an external antenna. But anyway, that's electrical storage is taken care of, electrical generation is taken care of, attitude control. The only means of attitude control on this ship is this gimbaled engine down here at the bottom, and it has no reaction wheels. These are not control surfaces. That's what it is. Lights, I haven't unlocked lights yet, so I'll have to say no. Textures, and I won't texture and paint it. Thrust to weight ratio, there's a good one. What is the thrust to weight ratio? It's 1.92 at launch. In the atmosphere, that's a little bit on the high side, so why don't we tweak this down just a smidge. I probably still want it a bit on the high side, because it is a small rocket, so I do want it to kind of punch up. 0.60 is probably good, so we'll go with that, and the staging is pretty simple and should make sense. Okay, with that, let's save this, and let's run a simulation and make sure that this is going to work all right. So we'll simulate. We'll start it off on the launch pad. And I am playing with Kerbal construction time, so you do want to simulate everything before you launch it, because if you don't and you find out it doesn't work, well, you just spent money and you can't revert back and rebuild it. So you want to get it working before you get started. And we are at night, but when I do this for real, I'll make sure we are not at night. Now, another one thing, if I go back to Visual Studio, this is here. Let's get rid of WernherChecker. This is the orbit program. It's making use of these launch functions. I went over this last week, so I'm not going to go over it too much. But the basic here is it has a half pitch altitude. This is my own variable of 12,000 meters, which means at 12,000 meters, the rocket's going to try to be at 45 degrees of a pitch. I found that it got a little warm at that. So what I'm going to do is actually modify my orbit program by putting in some parameters here. The pitch maneuver takes some parameters. One is for the desired heading, which the default is 90, and one is for this half pitch altitude. So if I'm going to put in some parameters, I have to put it in for both. It is a both or nothing type of deal. So I am going to stick with the 90 heading, but I am going to change the half pitch altitude to 15,000 meters, like that. And we're going to save that. And we're going to see if this flies any better. So we're going to just simply run our orbit program is all I should have to do. So orbit, and there we go. And after a brief countdown, we should be off. What do I think about the stage recovery mod? I kind of like the stage recovery mod. I do make use of it. I've made use of it in the past, and then I end up not making use of it because mostly I end up in a situation where I don't care anymore. I usually find once I get into the sort of early game, that money stops being kind of a big concern. Once you've had a couple of buildings gone up to level 2, I find money's not a huge deal anymore, and I tend to just find it not worth. But it is a nice mod. It works well. So for those that don't know, stage recovery automatically will recover stages, provided you make them something that can be recoverable, like put parachutes or whatever on them, and it gives you money for it. So I think that's a neat thing. Oh, I'm glad my tutorial series is helping you there. Is it Rel? We'll go with that. Oh, VS Code, please. You know, I've been asked that before, to go to VS Code. I'm not going to go to VS Code. I love kOS, so I'm not going to do it. What VS Code does is allows you to use real coding languages, and you can choose your coding language in KSP, but it is, because it's not designed specifically, the coding languages obviously are not designed specifically for KSP, that makes them hard to use. Now, I've had people argue with me. I should really keep an eye on my Apple Apps, as it should shut when this gets to 80. You can see it's starting to get a little hot. This thing is obviously not very aerodynamically efficient. I think that kind of goes without saying. I've had people argue with me, you know, isn't it better to learn a real programming language? You know, real in quotation marks, because kOS is a real programming language, but you know, one that's used out there in the real world. And I don't consider it that big a deal. If you want to get into coding, the key is finding something that's a hook for you, something that you will enjoy coding with. And it doesn't matter what that is. It is very easy once you understand how coding works and gets used to the structures, and more importantly, the thinking process that's involved with coding. It's really easy to adapt to different programming languages, and because those are just syntax changes. So no, I'm not going to do, I guess that's a long answer to I won't be doing VS Code. VS Code is blocked. Oh my gosh, I misunderstood that. I'm an idiot. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I was thinking of something completely, don't worry. I'm not even going to try to explain what I was just talking about. Oh my gosh. What a dope. Okay. Where are we? Oh, I can't pitch down, so I'm going to just start throttling to give me some attitude control. I just noticed where we are. We're at about 70, and I'm going to give it some throttle. I only have attitude control when I have throttle. Oh my gosh, what a dope. So I'm going to pitch up a little bit, and I'm really watching. Let's pitch down, 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 down. I don't want my apoapsis to get too high. Pitch down, pitch down, pitch. Okay, cut. Oh, now I'm twirling. Go back a bit. I want back, back, back. Oh, come on, come on, come on. I don't want my apoapsis to get too high. I don't have time to apoapsis unlocked. I think just keep it low like this. Keep it low like this so you have some attitude control. Boy, I don't have a lot of. This is going to be fun in the real world, or when I do this for realsies, isn't it? Okay, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. I think I need to put some more fuel on this. I do. I do. Sorry about that. With the code window. I did that last time, and I'm sure I'll do it again. Okay, let's revert this. Revert, revert, revert. Terminate the simulation. Yeah, I think I'm going to put a little more fuel on this. I think the ascent profile was okay. I think that part was all right. Like the 15. Maybe go to 20. I'm honestly thinking, but I think what I should do. No, I think it was okay. I'm going to keep it where it was. What I think I will do is I'll put one more can on here. Give it a little bit more DV. I probably should up the thrust on this, maybe to full now. Yeah. Just to give it a little more DV. One thing to, when you do really tiny rockets like this, like clearly drag is going to affect it a lot more than with a bigger streamline rocket. So I think that might be part of my problem. Okay, let's try this one more time. Hopefully just one more time. Ah, VS Code. I was thinking, what's the name of the mod that actually allows you to program with real programming languages? I've been asked in the past to work with that, and I'm not going to. But that's what I was thinking of. That was what my rambling was about. Okay, let's again run orbit with 90-degree heading. And a 15,000 half pitch altitude for the pitch. Okay, now you get to see it for real. What did I just do? Number of arguments passed didn't match. How did it not match? Oh, did I do that? That's a dumb way to do it. Here's my smarter way to do it. Okay, I'm dumb. So what I'm going to do, because I thought I would, no, what I'm going to do, rather than, I changed the code, but what I should do is right here, define a parameter. And this parameter is going to be H pitch. I'll just call it altitude. And its default is going to be 12,000. This is smarter anyway. Except I should use the word is. This is my mistake. And then I'll create another parameter called heading. Oh, I shouldn't use heading. It's a head. I shouldn't use the word heading because it is a default thing, and that's default's going to be, it's a keyword. I shouldn't use keywords for my own variables. And just because it bugs me that heading has to come before when I declare it. When I go to pass this to pitch maneuver, it's the heading that's first. Not that it matters, but I'm going to reverse those two. And then here, oh shoot, now I'm doing the opposite problem. I'm talking about Visual Studio and not showing it. Oh my gosh. I tell you. Now, you might be asking the question, can I walk and chew gum at the same time? And the answer to that question is clearly no. H. Pitch. Alt. Oh boy. Okay, so just to go over what I just did, because that was really sad, is I created two parameters. One's the head for heading, because I didn't want to call it heading, because heading is a keyword, so I wanted to avoid that. That's the direction I want to go, and I'm going to make the default value for head to be 90. And parameter, I called this is for the half pitch altitude. I called it H pitch altitude, the default being 12. So if I don't provide numbers, those are the two numbers that will get passed over to the pitching maneuver, which actually controls what the pitch is going to be. But I'm going to now, if I go back and take this away, I'm going to remember this time to take that away. There we go. Now I should be able to run orbit and pass those parameters. And it's easier to do it from here than to go into your code all the time. So now if I go run, hey, there we go. And that screen's, okay, all screens are good. All screens are go. What does Kerbalism do? Asks Van Talk. You know, what's the other thing I like about automating this is right now I'm not doing anything other than watching it, and I can engage better with the chat. What does Kerbalism do? Kerbalism, right now it completely changes how the science works, so that's one important thing here. I can show it here that the science is collected over time rather than all collected in just one go. So that's one important thing it does right away. And then you either transmit or recover the science. All of this is being transmitted, but there is some science experiments that require recovery. None of these do, because this is not going to be recovered. Kerbalism also adds in life support for your Kerbals. It adds in radiation belts around Kerbin that make your Kerbal sick. It adds in engine failures or possible engine failures. There's always a small chance that an engine might fail on you. So lots of stuff Kerbalism does. Okay. Anyway, now things are going pretty good. So you can see here we're at about 15 kilometers. We're right at 45 degrees. So that's what that half pitch alt does. And yeah. So again, this is going to cut at 80, and now that I have a little bit more fuel, hopefully I can circularize this. Again, the biggest challenge is not having SAS. That my only means of attitude control are the gimbal in that engine. All right, so we're up. And I also don't have time to apoapsis, so it's really hard when I look here to see sort of where's my apoapsis? It's not showing me. I got to upgrade the tracking station at some point too. I don't even know how much money I have. I'm paying no attention. Oh, I probably could upgrade the tracking station. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Anyway, that's getting done. All right. And it's reasonably staying near the prograde vector, which is good. And then I'm going to have to take over manually. And I'm really judging this really just by how close I'm coming to my apoapsis. I don't want to put a ton of energy into my apoapsis and bring that up too much. Okay, I got to give a little bit of throttle so I have some attitude control. And I'm going to pitch down a bit. And then I'm going to start giving a little more throttle. So if I wait too long, then we end up falling back down. If I don't wait long enough, then you know what I'm trying to say. I'll end up pushing up my apoapsis too far. So I'm just using pitch to really keep this apoapsis close by. So you can see I'm pitching below the horizon a little bit. If I start pitching too much, oh, there we go. There's our orbit. See, these easy peasy pants. That's our orbit. So that should do the contract there. All right, so what I think I'll do is I'll end that simulation. I did it once, and that means I can do it again, right? So we're going to terminate the simulation. We're going to build this thing. Have you ever used the Outer Planets mod? No, I do not. I'm not. I'm not gotten hugely into adding more planets because Anyone who's watched any of my previous streams know that I spend the vast bulk of my time just flapping about between Kerbin and the Moon and Minmus. I don't go interplanetary a huge amount, so I'm not had a big desire to go to get those other planet mods, so that's why. Yes, I am up. No Mercy asks, will you be updating your scripts on the GitHub? Yes, there's a link to my GitHub in the description. If you're going to use that, you are completely on your own. I don't want to get into GitHub discussions in the YouTube comments, but at my Discord, I have a channel specifically to discussing kOS. Actually, I think there's a couple of them. So that is a good place. If you want to go to the GitHub, get a file, and then you can go to the Discord and you can ask as many questions as you want. Okay, we're going to build this thing. But yes, the link is there, and I will keep it up to date. So after every stream, I'll update it. Where are we? We got to build this thing. So we're going to build it. And again, just to show people how this works, what this means is that this rocket just got put into the vehicle assembly building, and it's going to take about 8.5 days for it to be built. Okay, so we got to wait for that to happen. I have, by the way, Sounding Rocket 2 still being built. So that's happening. Actually, can show you one. No. I've shown you enough silly stuff. Let's just get out of here. Let's fly something. Let's fly something. Okay. So we are here. Actually, one thing I wanted to do is this sounding rocket, if I am not mistaken, does not have the boot file in it. I remember I was going over the stream last week, and I believe this does, so I'm going to edit it. And yep, see, no boot file, so we're going to put the boot file in there. And this is the thing, you need to save this in multiple places. So you got to, there's the save it to the VAB. There's the save by edits that I've just made. But there's also a third place vessels can be saved, and it's really easy to get those out of sync with each other, which can get you, have weird things happening. If I go to the VAB tab here and hit this, I also have, where's the plans? I don't have, must be already on plan, but I have plans, and there's a version of that rocket saved to plans too. So you want to make sure that all three of those different saved vessels, they're all separate from each other, the way they're stored on the computer, are really, separate. Okay, let's do this. Now I have, let's put Sounding Rocket 2 first. So that's going to take 5 days. And how am I doing for upgrades? Might want to put a few more points towards the VAB, get things happening a little quicker. So I have 8 points available. Let's put a couple more, get this up to 0.6. Yeah, we'll just do that. I want to save some for the VAB, or for the space plane hangar, because at some point I'm going to be building a plane. All right, so here comes Sounding Rocket 2. It is being integrated, put together. The sun has just come up, so we're going to get a nice sunrise launch. And boink, eventually. There we go. And now we're going to roll it out. That just takes 26 minutes. So that won't be a big deal. Roll that out. Just realized that all these messages from when I was doing my simulations are still here, so we'll get rid of those. Okay, and then we'll launch. Yeah, Ahmad's saying that he doesn't mind. I'm going to really try to take my time a little bit more with this, because I do tend to rush. I worry about people getting bored and leaving. And so I'm going to try and keep my a little bit more, slow down a little bit. So this is Sounding Rocket 2. You saw it last week. It's identical to the previous Sounding Rocket 2. And so I just built a second one, and this one's going to be really just about collecting some science. It will go suborbital, and then it'll come back and crash into the ground. It has no attitude control, so the tail fins here are angled just a little bit to get it spinning, and that spinning will help to stabilize it. Now I think if I go list here, I have probably sounding launch is my guess at what the program is, so hopefully that will be right. So sounding launch, and we'll run that and we'll see how she does. So boom, 3, 2, and 1, and auto, and oh, telemetry report stop. Turn that on. There we go. Remember that happening last time. So you can see it's starting to spin up. This isn't really too much. It's just going to get when these boosters run out, kOS should stage it for me. It did last time. And you can see there's no science to collect because it's collected all of the low Atmos science. That is over the forest is what we are. And you can see it kind of leaning away a little bit. And keep an eye on our apoapsis because we do want this to get into space. I think there'll be science once we're into high space above 18 kilometers, or high atmosphere, but that's at 18 kilometers. Here's where you can see that we really are in, this is the Florida Peninsula here. Oh, there we go. That worked. Great, great, great. And it's leaning over again towards the west, sort of southwestish, which is what it did last time. It ended up landing right in the middle of the Yucatan Peninsula, and it looks like it's kind of determined to go the same way. That yeah, it really, really, really wants to go to Mexico. Okay, still, oh, we are running and collecting science now. For those people that missed last stream and didn't get the Kerbalism talk, it's collecting a telemetry report. It's got 15 seconds to finish that. That's going to get done, so that's good. And then it's got a minute left on its temperature scan. That might get done too. Anyway, this will go until it runs out of fuel. Boom. Okay. And oh, maybe not. So the temperature scan may run out, but we are definitely heading to Mexico. Crossing over the Gulf. Little mini ICBM on its way to Mexico. And we are not going to quite get all of the temperature scan. Okay, we got all the temperature scan in space. Still doing telemetry in space. We got 6 seconds left on that, and that's all done. And while it's doing that, it's going to transmit all that away. And the trick, what you hope for is that all of this will get transmitted before you end up crashing into the ground. That's what you want. Okay, so off we go towards the west. Oh, and here you can see I'm doing a little bit of time warping, and you can see how it's still spinning. It does not freeze, and that's thanks to persistent rotation, which got installed between last stream and this stream. I always don't like how the way the freezing stops in the stock game. Okay, so the telemetry reports all transmitted. I think we might do pretty good. Because of course it doesn't count until you've actually transmitted it and got it home. Oh, we are... I don't know. Last time we crashed right in here. I think we're going a little further this time. Oh, we just gone back into the atmosphere. And I think we're collecting science again. Yeah, we're collecting more. Get another shot at the telemetry report and the temperature scan. While in high. But I don't think we're going to make it to the coastline here. Oh, really? White Sands really did send rockets into Mexico? Okay, we have lost our connection because of plasma blackout. This is done. So while the connection is lost, you have no information about this at all, and clearly it can't be transmitting. There, it's resumed. Oh, no. The science is done, but it has resumed transmitting, and oh my gosh, we are not quite. Oh, those poor tourists on those sandy beaches are in for a bit of a surprise. Frantically trying to transmit this all the way, but it ain't gonna happen, is it? Now, you might also recall, for those people that saw last week's stream or the little edit that I did afterwards, this thing bounced. This thing bounced when it hit the ground. That was very, very weird. I've never had that happen before. So we'll see what happens this time. Not quite intercontinental. It's what do you call that? Intracontinental. It's an intracontinental ballistic missile. Okay, let's put this on ground. And yeah, no parachutes. I've yet to unlock parachutes. So we'll see what this does. See? Yeah, that time, that's really what you should expect, isn't it? Okay, that's cool. So there we go. And we will go back to the Space Center. And we'll get another rocket going. Actually, I should look at my science. So science, there should be science being done too. Sciencing. Okay. And what is going on with the technology? Nothing. Oh, I can unlock another node though. 13 science. I think it's 10 science. And you know what I think I'm going to do? The next tier is 20. But rather than that, I kind of do want to build a plane, right? I'm assuming this will give me a cockpit of some kind. Yeah, it does. It gives me the little inline cockpit, Mark 1 inline cockpit. Little Juno jet engine. Cool. Most of my parts are stock. The tech tree is modified, but I got a couple of extra part mods, but most of it is stock. I want to stay with parts that I'm pretty familiar with. Stage destroyed, yeah. Lots of stuff destroyed. Okay, so let's just very quickly open this up again and take a look at the text. So this is going to just take 2 days for aeronautics. Launchpad is being reconditioned, so that's going to happen first. How did I learn kOS? How did I learn kOS? Now, I do have a bit of a programming background, but not by any means professional. I took a few programming courses when I was in school, and I like programming, so I've always been kind of a hobbyist when it comes to programming. So most of it is just me figuring things out and watching and reading the documentation. That's large. I'm trying to think. I know long time ago Scott Manley did a kOS tutorial. I remember seeing it. I don't know if I learned much from it. Cheers Kevin I learned a bit from, but if you really want to take kOS right from the beginning, Cheers Kevin is another YouTuber, by the way. Brickamath has a great kOS basics, and it's really designed for beginners. So if you want to get into right at the ground floor and you've not done any coding before but like to learn, that's a great place for you to go. Or if you have done some coding but like to learn kOS. Brickamath, and there's there is a link down there in the description to his playlist. Okay, so there comes aeronautics. And then how long until I get... The Sputnik is still 4 days away. Okay, you know what I'm in the mood for? I'm in the mood to build a plane. I'm in the mood to build a plane. Because I now have the tech for it. So let's warp to Sunrise, because we're going to be testing it. I want to build a plane. Still got the Sputnik 1. It's still being built here. It's 4 days away, but I want to get in, see if we can get a plane going. See if we can get a plane going. All right, so this is going to be a very, yeah, see, so now my checklist isn't very good. I got to come up with a planes checklist because this is not going to be too useful. But this is going to be a very stockish plane. It's going to be pretty much all stock parts. So we're going to start with the Mark 1 cockpit. I'm going to take out the monopropellant because we don't need any of that. And now I'm going to see, what do we got? We have Mark 1 and Mark 0 liquid fuel fuselages. We have the Juno engine, so that's going to be... The Juno engine's very small, so I think what I'll do... Let's see what we got under aeronaut. Yeah, I might... Yeah, there's that tail fin connector. How's my science? Because what this is good for is actually obviously going to different biomes. what I think I might just do is put in a Mark 1 fuselage and take all the fuel out. And the purpose of that is just to extend the fuselage a little bit. And then take some of these Mark 0 ones, because we do not need that much fuel. And sort of... Oh my gosh, I want you on the end of that. Is that so hard? So that's what I want, like that. And then a Juno engine on the end of that. That's a fine amount of thrust. I could always put on more of these little, like those things. Now I do need air intake, so let's think about that right away. I think I just have these small, that's all I got. The small circular intake, that's going to go here, like so. And a nose cone. I have a small nose cone. There's the regular aerodynamic nose cone. This should work for me, I think. Like, basically, it's going to need more. It's going to need wings, wings, wings. I do have... What do I got for wing parts? I don't have the swept wings. No, I do not. I'm not going to get into... by the way, I find working with the stock propellers, and I find that so fiddly. I kind of have no interest in doing that. Those are too small. Let's just try that for a wing idea. Let's see. I got the standard elevon here that I'll use for controlling roll. What do we got? Do we have any small? Those are way too big. Do I have smaller? Make some sort of tail on this. Oh, I grabbed the big ones again. Because I don't have... No. Let's see. Just making a really basic plane is the idea of this. So I want to make a kind of a tail. It really doesn't want me to double that up. There we go. You could also put these at the front and then there'll be canards, but I always find that that starts to get in the way of the Kerbal getting in and out. So that's what we're going to do instead. And I'll slide these back. Slide them in. Rotate them a little. Sure. That kind of works. Kind of works. Slide them up a little bit. I can deal. Okay, we'll put these wings in a little bit too. So they're like that. We'll figure some stuff out. Like that. Need some control surfaces because none of these are control surfaces. So I'm assuming if they're going to give me these little parts, they're going to give me, yes, the little control surface. And then I'll keep guessing at which way these should roll. Single symmetry. Haha. That's what I should add. Like so. Okay. So that's a plane. That's a plane, I think. Okay, what do we got for mass and lift? That is obviously, you want that center of lift just behind, like almost kind of in the same ball as that. So I guess what I'll be doing is just grabbing this. I think the wings are attached to the tank, so I should be able to just take this whole... slide it. And unfortunately, that moves the whole mass with it too. Okay, I got some ideas. Okay, so we'll put this closer here. I might extend this out further. Yeah. Let's just get the wings. Move the wings out a bit, and then maybe move them up a bit. I don't want the wings to get in the way of that, though. That's the biggest issue. And that will bring down the center of lift a little. I don't know. You can't build a stock starter plane without it looking goofy a little bit. Like, it just is what it's going to be. What if I move these engines up a bit? I think I have to grab that one. Oh, but then the wings go up too, of course. It might work fine this way. We'll see. We'll see what she's like. We'll give her a test fly. Let's take the flag off because the flag is right on. How do you get that flag? Toggle a flag. There we go. Okay. We'll see how this does. Okay. So it looks plainish. Plainish. Slide those in. That looks a little better. Okay, landing gear. Yeah, we only have these guys that are made out of matchsticks. They are brutal. Rotate the wing. Yeah, we'll play around with that. I'm just sort of getting the general gist of it for now. So I want to get these landing gears in there. Always have the snap on when you put on landing gear, so that they will have a chance at being straight up and down. You want the landing gear, the rear gear, a little bit behind the center mass so that it can pitch up on the runway. But of course, if you get too close to the center mass, it has a tendency to want to you know, fall down and get a little bit of clearance happening here. We'll see. We'll see how that does. And we got the front one here, the steerable one that goes there, and that is, yeah, I think I got to move those tanks down. You want this one to be like, if I move this down to the ground here, you want this front one to be a little lower than the rear ones, but not silly lower. You want it slightly pitched up when it's sitting on the runway. So I'm going to move that up just a bit. And then move this down so it's just clipping. And then I think I need to move these tanks up. Oh, not actually bad, is it? Or move the tanks down. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. No, it's pretty good. Okay, no, actually, that's might work. We'll see. Probably it will hit my backside on the ground, but if that happens, it happens. Whoops. There, and lift is again in a semi-reasonable place. Okay, I might, for now, I know what people are saying with tilting the wings. You can give a little bit of a rotate to the wings, but I'm actually worried a little bit about the aesthetics of that, because it might clip funny into where the engines are. So I might just leave it the way it is now. But what I will do is I will adjust. You want to adjust these control surfaces. So these guys here are for roll. And I always find my planes are way too pitchy. So I always turn, or twitchy. So I always turn the authority limiter down to starting at 10% and then sort of see from there. These guys at the back are going to be for pitch control. So turn off the other two, again 10%. And the rudder here is for yaw control. So the other two get turned off, again 10% on that. And let's see, what can I do as far as strength goes on these things? I'm not sure there's much I can do. Spring, let's just up this and the dampeners a little. Try and make them a little stronger. Also put the brakes on these to 100%, but I'll keep the forward brakes at 50. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, you can't brake with that one anyway. Okay, this is, what is this one? This is the Juno 2. Because it has two Juno engines. And must probably have a Kerbal in there. Jebediah, of course, has jumped into the seat. Let's see what happens. Don't forget the main thing, lights. I don't think I have lights yet. I still don't have lights. I do have, look at that, a little ladder piece. So if Jeb wants to get in and out, that might be an option for him. That's a concept. Okay, let's see how this works. Let's see how this works. So this is going to be a simulation. Clearly, if things crash, things crash. Yeah, rotation of about a degree. I might give that a try, AstroPulse, but let's just see how this works as it is right now. And the purpose of this is just really seeing if we can fly to another biome. I don't think I'm going to trust it to land anywhere but on the runway because reasons. I can't put on the cockpit lights. I think I should put this landing gear a little lower. Okay, now I should show this to you because this is like for flying planes, the best mod ever. It's called Atmosphere Autopilot. There's a button for it here. Oh, and then you got to put it on here. Bonk, there it is. But instead of doing that, turn that off again. There's also Shift and P turns that on and off. And you want to put on the master switch, which by the way has P as a toggle. Like that, and you want to have on standard fly-by-wire, and it took me forever to realize that you want to have that on. It really helps with the flying, and now you don't need to have SAS on, or do you? Let's put on SAS. Let's see what happens. So throttle up, punch it. Let's see what happens. Those judos are spooling. Oh, I got the brakes on. Brakes off. Come on, brakes. Why is it being this way? Why is this not moving? I'm at full throttle. Okay, there can't be. I got air intake. I'm producing 20 kilonewtons of thrust right now and not moving, or barely moving. It feels like there's something weird happening. More engines. No, it should. There it goes. But no, there's something weird happening. Like, there's no way this should be this wimpy. Okay, just really quick, let's just restart the simulation. Let's see what happens this time. That was weird. That was very weird. You think, yeah, the tail is obstructing the thrust? I'm glad you put a question mark on there, Robin, because that was like my thought, but there's no way that should be the issue. But maybe that this is obstructing the thrust coming off of there. But seriously, let's just throttle up and punch without doing anything. I think I got the same issue. Yeah, this is the same problem. Okay, so what we're going to do, terminate the simulation, revert it back to the spaceplane hangar. Load less fuel, but there's plenty of thrust. Like, this has a thrust to weight ratio of over 1. It should move. It should move. I'm going to take these off just very temporarily. Here, just actually make sure this is saved. And then take these off. And let's just simulate this one more time. And see if there is some obstruction somehow going on. Because that's weird. It's like the brakes were set. That's what it feels like. It feels like the brakes are on. That's the first thing I was trying was just, toggling on and off the brakes. I mean, I could put on a third engine, but this really should be fine. So let's just doom. There's some weird oscillation thing going on. See, now it's fine. Okay, so we're not going to take off this way, but I got to resolve that is weird. I've never had that happen. Yeah, the tail was obstructing the thrust. There's no way that should be a thing, but clearly somehow it is a thing. This is why I saved it, so I can just load this back. But this is obstructing that. So one thing I could probably do that actually might be easier than messing with the aerodynamics is to simply grab that and slide them further outwards. Well, that's the whole wing. Okay, yeah. If you don't know, hold Shift key and you can move things as far as you want. That's like one of the most useful and hidden tips ever. Holding Shift while doing that. And then we can take this one and slide it a little bit just so it doesn't clip into the motor. Maybe that'll be enough now that this is not... because that's just really strange. As far as I'm concerned. That's strange. Simulate again. I don't want to bring... the wings are already kind of high. I guess I could move the wings down and then move the tail, like, and then move the tail up. But the center of lift is already pretty high. I don't want to move it any higher. So that's why I'm reluctant to move the tail up. But we'll see. That might be the next step if this doesn't work. All right, so let's just again Z and punch it and see what happens here. Yeah, there we go. That was it. That was weird. That shouldn't have happened. Okay, SAS on though. And actually I should also bring up my... there. Okay. Oh, we got a lot of speed and we're off. We're off. And this is... I'm just going to show people. Let's turn down the throttle a bit. See, this is fine. So, right now, I want to note SAS off, but the fly-by-wire, and see how it's holding its attitude. That's what the fly-by-wire does for you. It's so much nicer, and it's even way nicer than if I turn this off. And, oh wow, this plane is... I didn't turn it off, that's why. Oh, turn the master switch off. There we go. See, now it's starting to dip down, but even with, you know, when you put SAS and you get this kind of jerky flying because of the reaction wheels in there, if I keep this turned on, everything is just so much smoother. It behaves so much more like a plane. It's really nice. I'm honestly thinking this is a pretty nice little plane. We'll do a little bit of a testing. That's the roll. See, rolls work. It might be a little too roly-poly. So I'm going to turn this down to maybe 6. Let's see what that's like. Here we go. And yaw control. And pitch control was actually really nice right away. Okay, let's... But this is Atmosphere fly-by-wire, or no, Atmosphere Autopilot's what it's called. Really handy. There's a lot of other features in there, but just that standard fly-by-wire. And actually, that's one of the things I noticed right away with KSP2. I shouldn't spend too much time dorking about because this is costing me money. With KSP2, the flying, there's something in there. They have some sort of flight assist going on with their, which is nice, actually, in KSP2, because the flying is so much nicer than in KSP1. It's not that jerky. So anyway, I'm going to bring it around, try and do a test landing. Again, these landing gear are the worst. I think the game just thinks it's funny to watch people crash. I'm fine with this. If everything is good, we're going to put some science on it. But as far as flying it goes, it's great. Okay, let's turn around. Oh, this is going to be bad. You know, let's get a little further from the... I'm going a little too fast. Little too fast. Okay, let's turn around again. Not the best airplane person in the world, but I can get the job done. Big thing is watching that nav ball and watching whether you're going up or whether you're going down. Now this thing has a really... I noticed it took off at like 50, 60 meters per second, so I really want to kind of slow down here. Its stall speed's pretty low. There we go. And we're going to get ready to put it down on the thingy here. See how this works. And if this all works great, then coming in and I'm going to build it. And we'll have a plane and we'll get Jeb or someone to go fly it around. Well, all I got is Jeb and Val. Okay, and come on, get down, Jeb. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. Whoa! That was a weird bounce to Tola there, and down. We're down. I don't know what happened there. It was a very weird bounce. But we're down. No problems. Okay, so let's terminate that simulation. Which is that. Let's dress it up a little bit too. That was good. That was good. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to touch it. Now, I am going to put on some science. So we do have, again, we have a crew report built into the cockpit. So we want to turn that on, make sure that's waiting. I'm not sure there's any other science that's available. So, and again, that happens automatically. Where is the configure the science? Is it under here? Configure the pod? Yes. Nope, that's configure. Here's where you get into the life support stuff. See, we got a scrubber to take out the carbon dioxide. There is a monoprop oxygen fuel cell, and that's it. Because we're going to be in the low atmosphere, doesn't really matter what you do here, but once you're in space, don't ever, ever, ever mess with the scrubber. That is going to be your quickest ticket to Kerbal death, is messing with the scrubber. Where is the configure the science? That's what I'm looking for. Let's turn everything else off. I just noticed Jeb doesn't even have a parachute. Oh, maybe there's no science to configure. Maybe that's it. Okay, I'll go with that. Now I do have, let's see here. We have a press map barometer. We'll stick that on there. We have a thermometer. We'll stick you on there. And we also have this Geiger counter. Now, the Geiger counter, I think, does work in atmosphere. Flying low, flying high, and surface biome specific. So, Geiger counter is going on, too. We'll take Geiger counter readings. Again, all of those, you want to make sure they're on. Science. There we go. So, turn that on. Turn that on, and it'll turn on automatically once appropriate. And then the other thing you want to do is get into this Kerbalism helper and check over the electricity, because the running of the science... Oh, and transmitting too. I should put in a Communitron 16S, like so. So this has enough battery life to last for 16 minutes. Wow, there's that much electricity already on this thing? That's kind of amazing. They put 140 units of electric charge just in there, so I'm not... And again, the engines will charge, because there's electrical generation on those Juno engines, correct? All this stuff in the way. Engine propellants. Oh, maybe not. Alternator, there it is. It generates 1 unit of electric charge per second. So that can be factored, which is more than what it consumes. And that's not factored into this 16-minute calculation. Maybe a little bit of batteries. Not a lot, though. No solar panel, but a couple of batteries. Just, yeah, just like here. Like so. Never did test if Jeb could get in and out on that, but we'll trust that. Okay. Doom. Okay, how about some texturing? So I do have textures. There's also the simple repaint. Yeah, let's get rid of the checklist, because that's not useful anyway. Light gray. Go for like that. Isn't there the Kerbal Badass Green? Wow, that's very green. What if we turn this one to the Kerbal Badass Green? Could also go khaki. Olive green. See, these are all nice. That is the Kerbal. That's a little too green, isn't it? Let's go back. Let's see. There is the mint green. The olive green. Let's go with olive green. Let's just change all of this to olive green. Gonna be dark. There we go. Olive green, olive green. Oh, whoa, I already did it. I mean, you're doing both of them. Okay, and that one. I wish I had navigation lights, but no such luck. So I don't think that one. Might stick a flag on here or two, too. Oh, that's mint green. Olive green. Oh, whoa, that's not even... Back. That one. Keep going one too far. I'm not sure why I keep doing that. Almost there. And wow, he even paints the glass. All right, I think I also have I do have flat flags. I could put these on somewhere. Better when I didn't put on the snap. I'm not going to change the color, but is there not... Can I not make it bigger? Oh, size, small. There we go. That's a little much. Oh, I need the curvy ones back there, don't I? Guess you guys. Not sure I'm going to get a good... Nah, forget that one. Okay, we'll just go with that. That's good. So there we go. That's a save. I just want to do one very quick simulation just to make sure Jeb can come out. Call it the Green Goblin. Hello, Polish Space Forever. I'm glad you can make it. So this is just about... Can Jeb get out and do EVAs? Yep, he's out. So that's something. Let go. And can he get back in? Oh, didn't like that. Really didn't like that. Can remove his helmet. There we go. Come on, Jeb. Up, 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 up. I think that thing's actually worse. It's making it worse. Or I need to put it in or something. Alright. Well, he can get out. One last try. Up, 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 up. No. Okay, so end that simulation. He can get out. That's the main thing. I don't think I'm going to fly this and land it anywhere else anyway, because I don't trust landing on anything but the runway. So I think what I'm going to do is going to remove this. I think it's actually in the way. Okay. I think otherwise this is good. So we're going to stick this into the building queue. Boom. And we're going to go and see if we can do some flying. And then we're going to go, remember at the very beginning of this, I still got the Duber going into orbit. What? I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened there. What happened there? Oh, that was, yeah. Okay. I didn't read that message. It scared me. Okay, so in the spaceplane hangar, we have the Juno 2 being built. It's going to take 95 days, but that's why I was saving my upgrades here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the spaceplane hangar. There we go. And we're going to add in some... I got 7 build points available. So we're going to bring this down to something tolerable. Oh, I've used up all my build points. It's still 21. Uh-oh. Did I just put them all in the wrong spot? No, I put my 7 points in the spaceplane hangar. I did. Wow, it's still going to take 21 days to build that? 22. Jeez. Should have saved more build points. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I can spend 16,000 for another build point or 4 science. I don't have 4 science, but let's spend 16,000 for a build point and 32,000 for the next build point. You can see how you can, this keeps doubling, so it will get to a point where you're going, I'm not going to do that anymore, but 17 days. The next one's 60. No, we're not going to spend 64,000. So we're done with that. Okay, so that's going to take 17 days to build. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, then I guess we're on the... What is this? An unexpected exception occurred. Please copy the error message. No, I'm not copying your error message and post it. It has something to do with the contract configurator. Ignore the exception. We're going to live on the edge. Ignore it. Discord, the Polish space forever is... What's your Discord name? It's just my name. It's just Mike Aben, and the link is down in the description. So if you want to pop by the Discord, that's all you got to do. Okay, we're going to do the Stay Putnik. So I want to add... I should be also able to add this to plans, right? How come you can't... I thought you could add this to plans from here. Obviously, I'm crazy. Just edit it real quick. I want that in my building plan so I can build another one right away. The Shrek plane. Here. Oh, I can't do it from here. Shoot. Okay. So I got to build me another checklist for airplanes. But I'll do that in the meantime. Or between the 2 streams. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Okay. Show hide build list. There. I want to go to plans. I want to add this guy to the plans. That's all I wanted. That wasn't too much to ask, was it? Have I got any contracts? Yes, I do have. You know what? It's very good. Not talked about contracts all this, but I should have one still left over from last week. But just to make doubly, dibbly, triply sure, contracts. Yes. Oh, haul the decoupler. Okay, that one's no good. I don't have any... oh my gosh, thank you very much. Orbit Earth. Oh my gosh, I never did. Okay, there's my contract. I still have this haul the TD-06 decoupler into flight. I might have put it on... I can't remember. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. But anyway, now I got a contract. I have this guy, Orbit Earth. Okay. Kerbal construction time. Stay Putnik 1. 4 days away. Boom. It keeps creating alarms for these, which I told it not to, but what it does is it just auto-deletes them right away, which is a little annoying, but maybe that's just how it works and knows when to stop. It's using the stock alarms. See, they pop up just briefly. Okay, now it's proving me crazy. Okay, go to here. We got to roll it out. That's going to take 35 minutes to roll out. And then we're ready to go. Oh, and I wanted to go to plans. And I want to push in another Stay Put Nick so it can build that too. That's why I put it in plans in the first place. All right, so launch. Launch. Okay, and there we go. And as before, let's actually this time really pay attention. The vessel's complete. We can delete that message. Got our contract here. Now, did I put a decoupler on this? There is a decoupler. So I was thinking about that. So I do have the ability, that's good, to, I wasn't even paying attention, but I do have a contract. One's to orbit Kerbin, that's that, but that's the main thing. But here, if I'm between 1,000 and 6,000 meters at an altitude between 60 meters per second and 1,700 meters per second, that's really broad, then this contract will satisfy. And I paid no attention as to whether that's happening or not. I do want to open up this, and I want to look at, yeah, we are running a... Wow, it's going to take 7 minutes to run that. Do I have the electricity for that? I have an hour of electric charge. Okay, so I'm going to do a very quick save here. So we got a radiation scan happening here. It's going to take 7 minutes to do it. So why don't we just time warp that away? Wanted to check my electricity, make sure I didn't use up my batteries doing this. And of course, it's also going to need to get transmitted, isn't it? I'll just sort of let that go. Okay, so there we go. We got, oh, we already transmitted it all, right? So that's cool. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready. Okay, and so all I have to do, again, is run that orbit program with a heading of 90 degrees and 1,500 meters there. So we are going to run that and hope everything... Oh, I'm still time warping. Oh my gosh. Oh, it seemed to be okay, but I was time warping at 4 times speed. It just that was the fastest countdown I ever had. Okay, so once I'm looking at a speed, okay, I'm in the right speed range. That should be it, and I got to be flying. Oh, it doesn't count. What? What is this if it's not flying? Does it have to be a plane? Oh my goodness! Notice that this isn't green. I think it has to be a plane. It doesn't count this as flying. What a... I don't know what counts as flying then. This is flying. Jerks. What the heck? Okay. Alright. We're on our way. We are... What is all this shaking going on? It wasn't doing that before. Oh my gosh. This thing's really making me nervous. There's nothing... What is going on? Why? I don't know. I don't know what this shaking is. I'm not pulling that many G's. This is weird. Yeah, that's a sneaky contract with the flying. I'm assuming flying means a plane. This feels like it's like shaking itself apart, but there's really nothing... Like, my G's are just over 3 G's now, pushing 4 G's. Like, it's not bad. I've done a lot worse. For an uncrewed rocket? Weird. Maybe it needs to be piloted by a Kerbal. That could be very true. That's whatever. We can stick it on that Juno, probably. And no, but the Juno can't go that... Well, it could probably go that fast. What is up with the camera shake? There is something fun. I think this is like, I don't know. What if I aim the camera here? Is that going to help me? Nope. I don't know. Very, very weird with the camera. I guess we're just going to have to put up with it. Okay, I got to pay attention to what I'm doing. We're going here. We are collecting science. We're collecting that radiation scan in the upper part of the atmosphere. And what's going to be nice is once we're in the atmosphere, we'll be able to, or once we're in orbit, we'll be able to collect stuff to our heart's content. That'll be nice. Okay, so I got to get myself ready. This is done. Put on SAS. Oh, SAS doesn't work, of course. And I got to pay attention to my altitude and try my best to ignore all this shaking that's going on. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little bit of throttle because I need it for the attitude control. And again, I want to keep that apoapsis from getting away on me. So I'm really watching that. But there's a weird sound going on right now. I think once I get in orbit, I'm going to try leaving and coming back. But you can hear that sort of punching noise. I don't know what that is. Whoa, whoa, whoa. See, my apoapsis was getting too far away on me. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I let myself get a little bit elliptical. I also got to watch my... Okay, where am I? I got to be a little bit conscious, too, of losing my signal with the KSC. Of course, now we're tumbling. I should just... You know what? When I come around to prograde, I'm going to punch it just a little bit and get this periapsis just to be above 70 so I at least satisfy this contract. And we are collecting a radiation scan. So I'm just waiting for this to come around to prograde. I'm going to give it a little bit of juice, get this up to 70, and call that. Okay, there. That's an orbit, right? That's not an orbit. How's that not an orbit, you stinker? Achieve orbit of Kerbin. These contracts are like being mean to me. How is this not an orbit of Kerbin? Both periapsis and apoapsis are above 70 kilometers. 140 by 100? There's nothing in here saying 140 by 140. There's no way it needs to be 140 by 140. Yep. This should be, like, yeah, that would be in real scale. It would be 140 by 140. I'm going to try and give it, again, a little bit of a push. I'm really worried about losing my signal. So that's why I want to kind of get this done now, because I have limited ground stations. I think there's something going on that it's... I think it thinks... Okay, I'm going to actually... I think it's a little borked, and I think this is connected to the camera. I think it thinks there's part of this vessel somewhere else. I've had this kind of thing happen before. So I'm just going to go to the Space Center. See, yes, see? There's something borked here. Oh, man, why? Why does this have to happen? See that? While you are moving, it thinks I'm landed or something like that. I bet you if I got open... Here, I'll show you. If I open up Kerbal Engineer... Oh, I can't because I don't have the Kerbal Engineer chip. But I think it thinks I'm landed or something goofy like that. And I think it has to do with the fact that I... Let's revert to launch. Revert to launch. I think it has to do with the fact that it took off while I was time warping. I think that's what the issue was. And I think that's connected to the shaky camera. That's why it wouldn't let me go on. It thinks I'm down on the surface. It is very, very confused. Okay, so this time I'm going to be very careful with the time warping. Whoops, I am on this window here. There we go. So let's time warp away that radiation scan. And make sure this time I turn off the time warping. Okay, there we go. And we got our stuff from our radiation scan. Our time warp is now off. We'll try this again. So run orbit 90 1500. I think it had to do with that time warping. Yeah, F5, F9 I'm hearing. Okay, so now I'm hoping I don't get all that shaking and nonsense going on. Ah, what fun. What fun. See, no shaking this time. Behaving normal-like. Normal-like. Oh, maybe that's why I didn't get the contract. Contract complete! We've hauled the TDs. So it wasn't a tricky contract. It just didn't think I was flying. It thought I was still on the surface. So now I did get the contract for the TD-060 coupler. That's good news. Alright. And of course the vessel is complete. So that's what was happening. The contract wasn't mean. It was just, that's probably why I was getting... No, that doesn't explain the errors I was getting, but... Whatever. So I did get the contract. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. Okay, I feel better. This does not feel all janky now. Alright, so... Once again, we're going to wait until our apoapsis is, I think it's 80, and then that cuts off and it's going to shut down. I do have, and I will work on doing a full orbit script. I'm actually got all the pieces for it. I just need to put it together so that it'll do the circularization and everything. But what's actually holding me back is the lack of attitude control on this thing. I don't trust kOS to do the circularization burn without having SAS, the SAS not the problem, but not having reaction wheels and those kind of things. Okay, program has now ended. Turn that off. All right, I feel so much better. Oh, there was something serious. Yeah, borked physics warp is what was happening there. I've had that happen before where the game thinks you're landed. And I was going to open up Kerbal Engineer because you can, but I don't have the Kerbal Engineer chip on here. But Kerbal Engineer will tell you your current status. And I bet you anything my current status was landed. Or on the surface or something to that effect. Okay, so here we go. Again, I'm going to let myself get a little closer to apoapsis. We'll start throttling up to give me some attitude control. Okay, just give me a little bit. I see your question there. Is it glockal? But right now, I think I really got to pay attention to this. And I'll answer your question as soon as... hopefully this will be done successfully. Okay, a little bit more throttle. And again, this time... I'm going to keep the throttle under control. Let's keep... No, more throttle. Last thing I want to do is pass my apoapsis. But I want to be a little more alert on keeping this close. This apoapsis close. So that's why I'm pitching a little bit below the horizon. But of course, I also don't want to pass... Whoops, that's a little too much. Okay, back here. Yeah, go, go, go. Very close. Very close. There we go. Orbit. Done. Yahoo! Okay. Contract complete. Excellent. Okay, that makes me feel better. So now we are in orbit, and we are running our radiation scan. It's going to take a little over 7 minutes. And this is... Earth space magnetosphere. So the radiation scan I think is really neat. It's not biome specific, but it is radiation belt specific. So if I push 0 on my keyboard, or maybe it's this 0. There it is. I have the Van Kerman belts, or I guess I can call them the Van Allen belts, considering this is Earth and not Kerbin. So we are in this lower one here, but getting in the different belts, so this is one belt here, and then the other belt is out this way, and getting into those belts will give you different radiation scans, so that's really neat. There's also the magnetopause, is I think what this is called. That's from the sun, pushing out the magnetic field around the Earth, so that's pretty cool. We're not getting out that far, but one day, turn that off again. You can also see like all of these are all the little ground stations. I can't remember the name of the mod that puts in all these little ground stations, but I have limited ground stations, and I can purchase ground stations in specific locations. I have no idea what they cost, but that's something to think about in the future, because pretty soon I'm going to be losing my contact with the KSC. But what I want to do is see if I can get all of this radiation scan. I do want to watch my electricity. I have 55 minutes of electricity left. I want to deorbit this thing while I can. I don't want to let this get too far. So, and it's also done. So far, I've done 6.1 science. That's exciting. Just the radiation scan left to do. I'm amazed. How am I still got a signal going here? Oh, there is some... Okay, I got to get into the settings. There is some kind occultation happening here. Signal's going right through the Earth. Okay, I'll get into the settings, see if I can fix that, because that ain't right. That ain't right. I'll figure that out. Like, look at that communication line. I mean, it's working to my benefit right now, but... Am I ever going to lose this signal? Like, that's a little silly. Wow, I am almost done my... Okay, this is silly. Oh, there, I finally lost the signal, but there's clearly some happiness happening with going through the surface with the signal. I clearly can go a few, 100, a few dozen kilometers below the surface there. Okay, so we are now just tumbling in orbit. I have no signal, so I have no control. I don't even get any data or information on my craft. There's absolutely nothing I got. Yeah, I can probably do a full orbit. Right now, I'd like to get a signal back and see... I don't know what's my next ground station I'm likely to get a signal from. Oh, not for a while. Oh my gosh. So I got to buy... The only really workable ground station I've got is the one at the KSC. You can also notice I'm in an inclined orbit. Actually, an inclined orbit that's pretty darn close to matching the moon. It's like I was planning to go to the moon one day. But that's because our launch site is not on the equator. So we ended up with an inclined orbit, because your orbit's inclination can never be lower than the latitude of your launch site. Oh, I think... Do I have a signal? No. Not yet. Oh, there's some sort of ground station right here. But I'm not picking it up. Oh, no frequency assigned. Okay, I gotta look at that. Maybe once I get out of the... There's no frequency assigned. You know what? Let's go to the tracking station right now. Let's go to the tracking station right now. Let's see if we can figure this out. Tracking station. Tracking station we go. Let's see if we can figure out some ground stations. While we got something in orbit, it's a good time to kind of figure out tracking stations. Okay, so I got a tracking station that I own right here, but it says no signal required. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. How do I do this? Whoa, I just moved my space center there. I didn't mean to do that. Let's move the space center back. Is that station I'm interested in? Okay. I think... I gotta find the mod. Is it this guy? There's our mod. CommNet Constellation. Okay. So, ground stations. So I got this guy here. NS Power... Okay, but I got no way of knowing where that is. Okay, that's kind of annoying. So, any guesses as to the longitude and latitude of that? Okay, we got one coming up. Maybe this one. What's this one? No frequency assigned. Shoot. Can I get any info on this? Satellite. I would love to know its lag. No, that's not going to give it to me. Okay, fine. I want to find this ground station. I think I got to do this on my own. Because all it's giving me here are latitudes and longitudes, and I have no idea what the longitude of this ground station is. But it'd be nice to figure it out. But I think once I do that, here I can edit this. Doesn't highlight which one it is. Oh wait, I can change the color. Oh, there we go, blue. Let's change it to blue. Apply. That didn't apply it. Okay, what one was that one? Why can't I move the camera? And then add a frequency. Nope, that's not it. I think the frequencies are just like 0. Add public broadcasting 0. Okay, now where is that? Update. I think I'm going to figure this out on my own, but I just really curious. I just changed one of these to a blue color. There it is. So I just changed this completely useless one that I already had control over. So it's something okay, I'll figure this out. I'm going to figure it out later. I'm going to go back to our vessel here. We're just going to deorbit it. I think it's a little too much to figure out right now, but you should be able to. And the frequencies, you don't have to pick things like in megahertz or anything like that. It's just like 0, 1, 2. You can give them channels is really a better word for it. And so that only satellites that are on the same channel are communicating with each other. And I think the default is channel 0. So that's why I put in a 0 there. But what I got to do is go into these ground stations, figure out which ones are which, assign them frequencies so that I can communicate with them. But right now, I think what I'm going to do is just come around until I pick the KSC up again, and then we'll deorbit. Yeah, I got to give it a name. I think that will all work, but I think... Oh, there, I got my signal. I'm going to give it a name, but I think that's better for me to figure out between streams, and then I'll get back to you on it. Okay, but we got ourselves a signal here. How much electricity we got left? We got still an hour and 24 minutes of electricity. We have transmitted and collected all the science that we have to transmit or collect. You can see that we're coming back over North America again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to tumble around and come back to the retrograde vector, and then we're going to deorbit. I am so happy that I put in persistent rotation. Okay, so here we are. And we'll try and put it in an ocean. In fact, why don't we watch it from here so we can actually... I have 246 meters per second left, so we're just going to... That, or we're going to bomb Africa. Okay, throttle up. And let's see. No, we can put it into the Atlantic. Beautiful. That's going to work fine. There we go. Out of fuel. Coming down now. Back to here. Okay, and we get to watch it blow up. Did you see my comment? I'm sorry. I was in the middle of a while ago, but if you were wondering how to get the time to apoapsis and periapsis, ETA, yes, I do know that. I can use kOS to get all kinds of information. In fact, I could have gotten that status back when I was thinking it was landed. For that matter, I can get it all with Kerbal Engineer as well, but I'm going to try and sort of honor the restrictions of having a tier 1 tracking station, so that's why I didn't revert to kOS. But yes, thank you. I did know that you can use ETA apoapsis, and you can do that with, you can do everything with kOS. Okay, we are coming back into the atmosphere. We are running scans again, but clearly this thing's probably going to blow up, not in a pretty short order. How much science did we end up getting? 10.9 science, so that's going to be another node, so that's exciting. But we'll see if this makes it to the surface. My guess is it probably will. Reorienting itself. Well, it finished the telemetry report in the high atmosphere. We are frantically transmitting. It's very unlikely that this will all get transmitted. flipping around backwards. And those tail fins are really close. There they start going. And we'll see how much... it's still transmitting somehow. I still have a signal. I'm amazed. I thought all this heating, all this plasma would be blocking that signal, but it's not. Still running experiments. This thing's a trooper. Oh, now I've lost my signal, so now I don't know. Now I don't know. Alright. Time to come down. It is a very long rocket. Actually, it's not so much that it's very long, because it's actually pretty small. It's a very skinny rocket, but I had to work with the parts that I had. And we are definitely coming down in the ocean. Are we transmitting some more? We got all this stuff, but we'll never transmit it all. Oh, my hard drive is full. Notice that? I have a 1.86 megabyte hard drive on this thing, and it is full. 0% available. It's all data that's all going to end up at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Oh, well. Down we go. Definitely, though. Boosh. Okay. So that is that, and that is its end, and that is a fitting end. Let's, I don't know what it's expecting me to recover. Let's go back to the Space Center. I have no parachutes at this point, Astropulse. I have yet to unlock them. So no, everything that flies up is going to come down hard. But I do have the science for another tech node. So, yeah, we'll close that. And we'll go into here. And we got to think about another contract. So, oh, yep, I got 29.3 science. All of these are 20. And I think I'm best served. Let's get rid of that annoying window. Boink. There we go. I think I'm best served with... more rocketry stuff. So let's see what we got here. We have some bigger fuel tanks. Now these are all in the 0.625 meter diameter. Spider engines, ant engines, lots. Oh, the Reliant engine, but no tanks to go with those. I already have the swivel unlocked. I really would like to get bigger tanks. Okay, we got decouplers, but not bigger tanks. That's kind of more what I'm thinking about. What's down this way? Okay, these are plane parts. What is this? Basic flight control. Okay, I'm not... There's my parachutes that people were asking about. And life support. Oh, parachute. How is a personal parachute? Like, shouldn't this be available at the beginning? I mean, seriously. Jeb doesn't have a parachute for his flight. Oh, well. We have not invented the parachute yet. Okay, we got more science. That's never a bad thing. So the mystery goo, we got an experimental star unit. We have, wow, that's an interesting choice. So that's for life support. But I don't even have, like, the ability to put Kerbals into space just yet. Big antenna. More experiment. Multispectral analyzer. That's from SCANsat. Unmanned experiment slot upgrade, mystery goo capacity upgrade. At the same time, you get the mystery goo. Weird. Okay. And then gadgets. What's under gadget? Bigger solar panels and the Commutron 16. I don't care about either of those. Shoot, I mean, this is great, but what I'm not getting are the bigger tanks. I have all small, like they're giving me 1.25 meter engines, but not like the Thud. That's a huge engine compared to what I have so far, but not the tanks to go with them. Interesting choices being made on this tech tree. There are my 1.25 meter tanks, so they're in the next level up, and that's okay. So what do I got under control? Because actually that's kind of where I need to go, I think. So we have the place anywhere linear RCS thruster blocks to give us a little bit of attitude control. That's not terrible. That's not a terrible idea. Of course, science is not a terrible idea either. I think science might be my better plan. When in doubt, unlock more science. When in doubt, unlock more science. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to get that started. So there we go. So that is in progress. That is in progress. We need to open this up. So under the tech, that's only going to take just under 5 days. I think I'm good on that front. In the VAB, I got another Stay Putnik going, and the spaceplane hangar is still going to be 13 days. I do have 1 point available. Oh, I was hoping to do the plane, but the plane might have to wait till tomorrow. I think my better plan is recondition the launch pad. Oh, better plans look at contracts, isn't it? I miss Mexico. Get the parachute. Yeah, that might not have been, oh well, a little late now. Let's look at what contracts are available. I agree, no mercy. That is really where I should be looking. So we have CommNet Relays is to place a relay satellite around the moon. I am not ready for that yet. Send your first Kerbal into orbit. I don't have any capsules capable of going. And then I got the flyby a moon with an uncrewed vessel, but one step at a time. Tourism Plus. Kick off Tourism Plus. What's kicking off Tourism Plus? Help Tito Kerman visit space. Wow. We haven't even had a Kerbal in space yet. Okay, so that's not going to happen. So contracts are coming in a funny order. Might be concentrating on doing some of these, I guess. So what do we got? A stack separator in flight. That's similar to what I just did. The AEFO Airstream Protective Shell. That's probably a big one, isn't it? Oh, no, it's the 0.625 meter one. Test it splashdown on Earth. Kind of weird to test the... Okay. Test the Ant engine. I should grab some of these. Like, to perform this test, activate a part through staging when the conditions are met. It's just do it on Earth landed. Okay, test the torch on Earth landed. Test the thud in orbit. Test the flee while flying at these speeds. Test the small hardpoint in a suborbital trajectory at an altitude of between there and there. I don't know. Let's see. Test the structural pylon. How much does it cost to upgrade the tracking station? 150. I'm a little bit... And same with mission control. I should probably update too, right? Yeah. Okay. I gotta grab something, don't I? So let's get back into here. Part testing seems to be really my only options. So let's do some, just to do them, some of these really low fruit ones. So test the ant, landed, and test the torch, landed. Just super low fruit, just to get something going in the VAB. Okay, so we'll go there, go here. Yeah, I'm not ready to go into orbit about the moon just yet. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No mercy saying CommNet. I'm going to figure out the CommNet when between the streams is what I think I'm going to do. But let's see. Where's our contracts here? Contracts. So I got test the ant and test the... And you just got to stage them while sitting on the surface. I mean, life doesn't get any easier than that. So I'm going to start with just a probe body. We're going to stick some batteries on it. And I'll have control. Can I have something I can... Yes. I'm just going to put a... I guess I'll just use the Oscar C fuel can. And sorry, what am I doing? The Ant? The Ant engine. Just need one. And the Torch engine, which obviously I've used before. Like so. Actually, the Torch I'll get when I... Oh, well, whatever. So this is going to take just 3 days to build, so I'm considering just building that and doing those 2 contracts. So I'm just going... I'm not even going to save it. I'm just going to build it. There. That's it. That's it. Yep. No, I don't care about saving you. I don't care about saving you, you monstrosity. Okay, so I'm going to go to here, that Untitled Craft is coming next. We've got 5 days to this Sputnik. We got 12 days to that. We have Basic Science coming up in 4 days. Actually, I probably... No, that's all. Okay, that all makes sense. All right, so let's time warp to that Basic Science is done. And I'm thinking, looking at the time, I might just do one more orbit. I don't know if there's a sense to it, though. There's not even science to get. Let's see how high we can get that. You know what we'll do? We're going to fire off this Sputnik 1, but instead of going for an orbit, I'm just going to go up, and I'm going to see if I can get more radiation scans. That's what I'm going to do with it. I think that, because there's no sense. Let's delete these. There's no sense going into an orbit. There's no more science to collect. But if I go up, I should be able to find more radiation belts. So that's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to take this Sputnik 1 that's being built right now. Boop. And VAB, we're going to roll that out. That takes 35 minutes. Plane's still being built. The one thing that's nice about the plane is once it's built, I don't have to build it again. I can recover and keep reusing the same one as long as I don't smash it up. Okay, and we'll warp to sunrise and then we'll launch. So this is about radiation belts. Okay, launch. So I'm actually not going to use kOS. I'm going to just actually just punch it and go. That's the plan. Okay, so we're just going to close that. There's no SAS, so just throttle up. I think I can do the torch right now, can't I? I got that torch. Test the torch while landed. And I think as soon as I stage... This is the torch engine here. I think as soon as I stage, I'm going to get this one. So let's find out. And go. There we go. So there's that contract. That's funny. Doing these without even trying. Okay, and so we're just going up, and we're seeing how much altitude we can get, and see if we can cross some radiation belts. Sorry, we're leaning over... I don't like that, so I'm trying to pull it back a little bit closer to vertical. Wasn't paying enough attention at the beginning. Yeah, it really wants to fall. It's falling over towards the south. Ah! It really wants to go that way. And I am, well, like I'll show you here, I got it pitched hard over, trying to keep it from going that way. And it really wants to go that way. Oh, the air is getting thinner, so I'm able to kind of pull it a little bit more. I don't want to go over too far. There we go. Now I got more control on it. I think once the air wasn't pushing on these fins so hard, I was able to steer it a little better. Okay, just going straight up. Oh, I should be looking at science. There is science being collected. Telemetry. You keep seeing that get finished if you're curious. Like, why didn't I see you finish the telemetry? And you're like, yeah, I finished it. But then what happened was... Whoops. I didn't transmit it all, so I don't have it all. So I keep... It's sort of funny, because I keep noticing these getting done, and then they're not done. But that's why. Because it doesn't transmit it all before the rocket blows up. Okay, we are almost in space and still going. We got 400, 500 kilometers on the apoapsis. 700 kilometers on the apoapsis. And we are out of fuel. Okay, so we can take a look at our trajectory. So this is clearly the best, highest altitude we've ever going to get before. Putting back on our radiation belts. This is what this is about. Oh, I'm kind of... We'll see. Oh, I'm not... You'll see what happens. See what happens. So right now I'm taking a radiation scan in the inner belt. So we are now in the inner belt. Collecting science. And you got to be careful about these once you start putting Kerbals in space, because they will take damage from radiation. That is a thing. It's frantically transmitting that stuff away. Are we going to get to another belt? It's hard to tell, isn't it? Oh, no, that's more telemetry. That's high space now. Yep, space high. We've not done that before. That is all off, and that's been transmitted. But my question is, am I getting into a different belt? No, I don't think I am. Radiation belts are kind of clustered around the equator too, the thing to notice. I think we're just coming short of going into the next belt. That's too bad. That's too bad. But we got a nice amount of altitude. And now we're gonna well, we'll see what happens on this plunge. We'll see what happens on this plunge. Yeah, so did that. Oh, we're getting more radiation scans again now. This time on the inner belt. But we're not going to be in the inner belt that much longer. So we're doing... Oh, that's another 11 science. That ain't bad. And there's actually a great science archive here. By the way, I love this science archive. And I can look at how my radiation scans are doing. So you can see there's surface, and flying high, there's still radiation, and flying low. That'd be a good thing. This flying low is good for the airplane once that's going. But I got the inner belt and then the magnetosphere. So the magnetosphere is when you're in Earth's magnetic field. So that is, if I go back this way, sorry. If I come back out here, anywhere inside of this is the magnetic sphere. But then as soon as you end up in one of these two radiation belts, then you are in a radiation belt instead of being in the magnetosphere. So I got all the science there is to collect in the magnetosphere. So that's cool. And 80% of what was in the inner belt. So that ain't bad. That ain't bad. 11.2 science all told. We must have done some vessel complete. Yeah, we got that contract. No milestones? I thought there'd be milestones from the altitude. Oh well. And are we going to just blow up? Here's the question. And it's completely gone. It is completely gone. And I think with that, I'm looking at the stream time. We are over the 2-hour mark. So I think actually that is where I'm going to be calling this one. So don't forget, I did get new science unlocks. We'll be building sort of a better rocket, I think, than the previous one, collecting some more science. As well, we do have the Juno 2 airplane. We'll be flying that next episode, but that's all going to have to be for next week. So in the meantime, thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody watching this at a later date. And of course, and as always, a very, very special thank you to my Patreon patrons and YouTube members. Be fantastic to yourself all the way through this week, and we'll see you all again next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.